Hey folks, welcome to Unqualified, the fantasy football podcast that's just been missing the subway by 5 seconds since 2017. I'm your producer, Rob Diesendorf, here with Sean Brady and Scott Johnson, two fantasy football rivals that have been sabotaging each other for years, but they decided to come together to help you win your league and catch your subway. How's it going, fellas?
I'd argue that the path is also part of the subway system, even though it's not, because I miss it by 6 seconds every single time.
This morning...
Oh, God.
This morning
was so hot. I can't wait to hear this story.
I had 2 minutes to get to the subway, and I was sprinting around the block to get to it.
Sounds like enough time.
I'm running down the steps as the subway comes into the station. I go to swipe my card. Error. I swipe my card again. Error. It says swipe again. I swipe it the third time, and it goes insufficient fare, insufficient funds. And then the train just pulls away.
So you weren't really
the
5
most
seconds
frustrating experience.
You were like
you're like a minute away at that point.
Yeah. You got to fill up.
I was like ready to get in there. I was there, ready to go.
Just jump in,
my
man.
card. My card needed like 2 extra cents to get on. Oh, it was the worst experience.
How much is it? $2.75?
Yep. $2.75.
I don't know.
Can I ask
they
you
keep
a question?
raising the price and making it worse.
Yeah.
What?
They do keep on raising the price, which is ridiculous. Why every single time like you're refilling your card, they put in those preset like options, like
$10 instead of 11.
Yeah, it's also like add $20.72, or I don't even know. I don't even look at it. I'm like, This is ridiculous. Then it takes more time to put in the custom thing of like you got to figure out how much it would be for 5 trips. Stupid. Every single one I have left over is like 17 cents. I'm like, all right, sick.
It's the opposite of paradise because you missed that plane. I mean, you missed that subway. Sorry, I'm in vacation
You missed
mode
that
right now.
plane.
You missed that plane.
Underground plane.
You missed that subway. Like in reality, you're missing like probably 5 to 10 minutes of your time waiting. Yeah. But it's so oppressively sticky and hot in the station that it's like
really
the worst.
bad.
It's like spending 5 minutes in hell, which is just
subways are the planes of the underworld.
Yes,
I think they're worse.
I drip sweat every morning just standing in the subway.
Oh.
Yep.
It's so stupid.
And you got to grab the handle.
I feel like, hey, doesn't heat rise? Shouldn't it be cooler underground?
You would think. That's a really good point.
It's really annoying.
Are there any subways that are hotter than other ones? Because they're all different levels, right?
Oh, that's a good point.
I feel like the deeper I go into the earth, the hotter it gets.
You feel like you're going to the Earth's core half the time. And then if they don't have the AC racked up in there, I'm so pissy.
And even if you get in a nice AC, relatively empty car, you step in there and automatically my thought goes, why is this car? Why is it like this? There's something wrong here.
Why are you the way you are?
I'm scanning all the people on the car like... You don't want to see any of the creatures. I'll just leave it at that. I'd rather think about Paradise here. Scott, are you keeping up with Bachelor in Paradise? We got a surprisingly lively commitment or channel activity from our listeners when we mentioned that we introed The Bachelor, or Bachelorette rather, on the last podcast. So, Scott, are you keeping up? You keeping up with Paradise?
The girlfriend of the pod, Shelby, and I did watch a few episodes... last week we caught up. Well, I don't know how many episodes there are because we watched on Hulu.
I can't keep track.
So we watched 4 episodes. I think they're on Monday, so I might have missed this past week on August 19th episode. But Clay Harbor in lieu of talking about fantasy football, because that's our podcast. Clay Harbor is a participant, and oof.
Did you ever own him in fantasy football?
I did one year. I did.
I didn't. I missed it.
He was an Eagle, on the Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles tight end, and he was more of like a blocking tight end if I remember correctly. But there was one week where this is before Zach Ertz, or maybe Zach Ertz's like rookie year. I was just about to say freshman year, And there was like a couple of weeks where Ertz was hurt or something like that, and I did own him because my tight end was like brutal that year. So it's kind of weird seeing him on the other end here on TV. The most low energy I've ever seen in my life.
Oh God! I mean, first off, this guy is a physical specimen. Like he is a Mack truck of a human being.
Yeah.
But his voice and his personality do not mesh with his appearance. Like he is.
They don't match.
His voice is the last voice you would expect to come out of that body. So he's a fascinating figure to me on the show because he seems like a really good guy.
He does.
The girl he's with doesn't seem like a really good person.
She's the worst.
And it's going to end horribly, but it's just not as like mainstream as the other drama on the show. So it's like it's bubbling. It's getting ready to explode at some point.
She is actually the worst contestant on that show in general, guys and girls. There was a fight.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
Yeah, I'll stick by it. I stand by that, and no one can change my mind ever. She was the worst on The Bachelor Colton season. She's God, she makes my blood boil. Talking about boiling. Talking about boiling in the subway station. I'd rather go to a 98-degree subway for an hour and a half than listen to her speak another sentence.
Wow, that's a lot of hatred coming out of there. My least favorite is Dylan, who is definitely a serial killer in his spare time. Oh no, Cam.
Oh, that's Cam. Yeah,
killer.
the guy that walks by himself all the time.
I mix them up because they're both so annoying. But those are my two least favorites. I would say Cam is definitely he's murdered someone at some point in his life.
Two people.
I think this is getting too heated for this intro, so I think this mock draft needs to get underway.
Yes, mock 2.0. Here we go.
All right, and we're in it. We're in the mock draft.
2.0. Mock draft 2.0.
2.0.
Our final mock before the season starts.
It's mock season. So what's today's date? The actual date? It's the 20th? August 20th?
8/20.
That. First of all, that's insane that Labor Day is right around the corner. But we're recording this a little earlier than we'll release it. So could be some changes while we're in production mode. So don't get mad at us if we say to draft someone that gets injured in the next 2 days.
I would say this is like we're heading into the number one, maybe number two fantasy football weekend of the year. The biggest draft, probably the second biggest draft weekend, and I would say the top draft weekend would be the weekend that we're drafting all of our leagues, actually, which is Labor Day weekend. So this is it, though. I mean, mock season's coming to a close very quickly. This is probably going to be the last mock we do here altogether.
Yeah. And mock season, like, it's always so exciting in the beginning, and then you reach a plateau where you're like, I just did 7 mocks today, and then it just goes downhill. You're like, I'm done. I want to do the real draft. Give me the real thing.
All right. So
at least that's me.
No, it is with me, too. It's just like you get to a point, there'll be days where I do none because I'm like disgusted with myself, and then there's days where I do like 10, and then I just can't get enough. Sometimes I'll have like... I'll like be in one and I'll be fed up with my team in that one, so I join another one, go back, finish while I wait, and then go back to it's like it's a problem.
That's exactly what I do. So we have problems. The first step is admitting it though, so we're good.
Yeah, kudos to us. Kudos to us right there.
Honestly, when I can't fall asleep, I mock draft.
Wow.
Last night.
Nice.
It was
when
12:05 and I was like I'm wide awake right now. I mocked. I got tired. Fell asleep like a baby.
You probably went up with
when
some
I can't fall
players.
asleep. I just listen to the pod.
And that.
It's good to have Rob back. We were worried that he lost connection for a little bit. Rob took Christian McCaffrey with the second pick in this mock draft. I don't even know if he meant to do it, but I like it, especially with news that Cam is getting back there. Like I've heard that he has a little bit off the fastball. But, I mean, he's still Cam. So I think that as long as he's healthy and playing, I think that helps Christian McCaffrey. So, Rob, whether it was intentional or not, nice pick there.
Yeah, I think
sometimes you just got to let Jesus take the wheel.
I think that's exactly what happened. I think it went all the way down, and now you have the auto pick, and now it's off. So you're good. But, yeah, that does bode well for McCaff. I mean, Cam can't throw it as deep as he has in previous seasons. Check down passes to McCaffrey.
And here we are, Scott, week I don't even know, week 7 of the Zeke holdout saga debacle. And, he's still sitting on the board here. You're at 6. A little context here. Pick number 1 went Saquon. Rob was 2, and McCaffrey, then Kamara 3. DeAndre Hopkins at 4. I mean, the value, yes, he's probably the 4th best fantasy player here, but this guy, Team Vine, bring back Vine, was risking not getting a running back around 2. But I love Hopkins, so I can't blame him. It's just a really gutsy pick. And then David Johnson went 5. So you're looking now at Zeke and a couple of other options that put you in a really tough spot here at 6.
Yeah, and at 6, I think the value that you get, I mean, you kind of get some value out of taking Zeke here if he falls, just on the off chance that he actually figures out his contract dispute with Jerry Jones. It's been heating up this week, and I can't imagine that he's going to start the season without it. A new one. He also reported back to the Dallas area from Mexico where he was working out. So I feel like taking a gamble on a guy like Zeke is fine, especially at 6. Not going to get any value or any guy like that otherwise.
Yeah, and I would say like it's kind of a twofold Le'Veon Bell fallout situation where we as fantasy owners are so scared of getting burned by that situation that we're willing to kind of wait and just let somebody else take the bullet. But Zeke, I think, is also looking at that situation and probably thinking in the back of his head he needs to play this year. So it almost creates a nice scenario where you can get him at a value. I agree. I'd still take him. I think 6 is where I'd take him. I would take the only player I would move on my board above Zeke is David Johnson, and that's exactly what happened right before you. So it definitely is that's the breaking point for me. But when you talk about Melvin Gordon, a guy I might have to think about at 10 or 1 in round 2, that's a different story. I think he actually could miss significant time.
Yeah, and I think the value of having picked 10, which is what you have right here, 10 and 11 on the snake draft, is you can double up on solid wide receivers if you want to. So you see Devontae Adams is falling to you, Julio Jones, those are the kind of caliber guys that maybe would fall. You got to take a chance on Melvin Gordon otherwise, or Joe Mixon or Kelsey.
Yeah, this is brutal because there's 4 wide receivers here that I would legitimately take at this spot. Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, Odell, who I am starting to really buy into, and then Tyreek Hill, who I think is somehow kind of underrated right now. And there's no running back that I like. I was hoping that Bell would fall. He probably won't if you're in the 10-11 spot. So I'm going to do kind of what Rob did on Mock Draft 1.0, and I'm going to take 2 guys that I really feel great about at the wide receiver spot because I don't trust Melvin Gordon to do what he's supposed to do. I don't think he's going to report to camp.
I don't think so either. Yeah, Le'Veon really opened up the door for all these running backs. You're seeing the fallout now. Melvin Gordon, Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah, and he went with Julio. Yep, love that pick.
Julio and Devontae Adams. I have the highest floor and the highest ceiling in the league at the wide receiver spot. I now probably don't have to draft a wide receiver until round 7 if I don't want to. But
7, 8.
Maybe I will and just stack that wide receiver core. I'll have 3 solid wide receivers. My flex will be, formed and set the rest of the way, and I'm just going to pray that I get a nice running back value in round 3.
Love that. Just for some context, too, Rob posted in the draft chat, hey, everyone, just letting you know that you're currently part of our podcast. It's called Unqualified Fantasy Football. You may have heard of us. And one guy right away goes, nope. Thanks.
And then
Jonathan Hunt.
Team Vine,
they do like my last name,
Team
though.
Vine only listens to Qualified.
True.
Bring back Vine.
Was he saying sick last name to you or to Team Vine? That was my question.
Oh, I don't know. I think to me.
To you. Okay.
I agree. I think that too. You know what? I think when you get resistance like that, I think we got to turn this to a fantasy football specific question. So let's ask them. What should we ask them? What do we think of? Who's your favorite fullback for this year?
Can we replace fullbacks with tight ends?
Yeah.
So can we replace tight ends with fullbacks rather?
I'm going to put who's your
All
top.
right, I'm doing a.
Who's your top fullback sleeper?
Who's top fullback? Kyle Juszczyk. Right, I took Odell Beckham with my second pick.
Oh, God, that's an amazing pick. I'm very jealous.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to block Rob from getting him later on, honestly. See, this is the value of knowing your draft mates.
Screw you, Scott.
Sorry. But I didn't like anyone else there, in all honesty. Kelsey, I don't think he's going to repeat. Same with Mixon. That team is falling apart. James Conner, situational running back there. System running back there. Antonio Brown, Mike Evans might have gotten later on, so I'll take Odell there. There's a lot of mouths to feed. I'm not in love with him, but the best out of all the options there. The middle second round is like, I don't know.
I've never, in my many years of playing fantasy football, I've never felt so strongly one way or another on guys in the top 3 rounds. Like, there's guys that I want no part of. Guys like Leonard Fournette, even Antonio Brown at this point, I just don't want the headache. Amari Cooper, I've been burned too many times. Like, there's so many guys that I just don't want, and there's so many guys that I do want that it's really going to be dicey because, like, I'm not going to kind of, like, go out of my way to pick a guy like Joe Mixon, so I need to really hope that a guy that I want falls.
Why are you not thrilled with Antonio Brown?
Oh, boy. How much time you got? That's
Good question.
That's the real question. So
for the next pick.
Let's list it out. He froze his foot getting cryotherapy, so that's one. He is in
France
3-week long at this point litigation. I don't know what else you would call it with the NFL over his inability to use his old helmet because they outlawed it because it doesn't pass like concussion testing, and he's like just going crazy. He hasn't practiced in like a couple weeks. Yeah, so just not a big fan of his decision making at this point.
Well, I hope that wasn't sabotage because I didn't pick him.
Who do you? Oh, you got Keenan Allen. Can I trade for him?
Keenan
Can I
Allen.
trade for him already?
No.
That was the big in our Hoboken league. That was the big trade target that Rob had last year, right? Keenan Allen. Everyone was trying to trade for him.
I did end up with some very tradable players,
You
and
did?
I would never let them go.
You almost made playoffs. Playoffs.
So, for example, Rob's sitting here now in round 3. Nick Chubb just went, who's one of my favorites. And the top 2 guys on the board, Antonio Brown, Mike Evans. There's definitely a little bit of a ceiling difference. Antonio Brown obviously is probably the best wide receiver of his generation, a generation that includes Julio Jones. But Mike Evans, at this point, so much safer. I mean, he was a huge part of my championship team last year in Hoboken, so I know what I would do here.
I'm going Evans.
Nice.
Very solid. 1,500 yards last year. He's even more solid
PPR.
in like a half-point PPR or standard league, just because of the yards and touchdowns. Like he's not getting 115 catches a year, basically.
All right, time to check in on our fullback question. What do we got here?
I don't think anyone answered it yet.
Oh, my God. Come on, people. We need Sabine. Let's go. We're going to send that question out to Team Sabine Jr. and Team Ritz from last week. Those guys have been active in the channels and very different from this
Team
group.
Gates.
This group's got some auto picks already. We got people coming and going. I don't like it.
A lot of
This
cursing.
group sucks. I say we roast them in the chat.
All right, I'm going round 3. It says your auto pick would be Leonard Fournette, and that just would never, ever happen. I'm good. And then you had T.Y. Hilton. Leonard Fournette, T.Y. Hilton, Amari Cooper in that order. T.Y. Hilton was sandwiched by my 2 do not draft guys, so I'll take T.Y.
Are you a little
Now I
bit
got
worried
Zeke.
about luck? Are you a little bit worried?
I didn't think about it, to be honest with you, when I took T.Y. Hilton just now, but we just saw a report that he hasn't practiced or participated fully since April. So that doesn't give me any confidence. There's been a couple changes this week that we can get into. Like Josh Gordon participating in workouts with the Patriots and getting reinstated. Andrew Luck having he's had a lot of injured off seasons, but this one's no different apparently. But I think they might be just doing precautions with him. I think he'll be fine for the start of the regular season. At least it's not like his throwing shoulder. So. And Leonard Fournette got taken a couple picks later, so good riddance. Now we got UQ Sean on the board. So, just to give a little recap, we got Amari Cooper, Zach Ertz, Julian Edelman, Brandon Cooks, Stephon Diggs, and the next 5 up. And you got a couple of running backs after that. Devontae Freeman, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Marlon Mack, Aaron Jones. to round out the next 10 that are up. But look at UQ Sean's team. He's got Julio Jones and Devontae Adams, so solid 1-2 punch with the wide receivers. But we'll see what he does here with his third pick. Going running back. We're going to stack wide receivers.
The Atlanta Falcons better be good this year because Devontae Freeman's my pick here. And
I like that.
I had that queued up for a couple, for a little bit because I wanted to think about my next pick, and I still haven't decided. Zach Ertz is so tempting there, but I really don't want to set myself back in terms of value at other spots. Obviously, he's a great player, but I think he takes a little bit of a step back this year. He's actually my number 3 tight end out of that big 3, and believe it or not, this is going to seem like sacrilege here. I'm going Brandon Cooks because I think with him as the top target in that Rams offense, as much as I love Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks is still the yardage machine there. That weekly floor and ceiling at my wide receiver core is it's too nice. Julio, Devontae Adams, Brandon Cooks. That team would scare me if I was playing them.
Yeah, that top 3 wide receiver tandem right there is insane. So Zach Ertz I don't know if I'm going to take him, but he still is available. This is round 4, pick 5. And again, I think there's regression to be had for all 3 of those top tight ends, so I am going with one of my guys, Marlon Mack. So I'm doubling up on Indy here, I just realized. This is why you do your research, guys and gals, but I'm putting a lot of stock in the Colts here.
I mean, think about it. They were a very, very good team last year. And
yeah,
while, yes, Luck was on the field for that, he also wasn't quite himself. So you might be looking at a similar situation this year, which is not the end of the world. When you take T.Y. Hilton just being a stud, regardless of who his quarterback is, you're in good shape.
Right.
Oh, Rob's back up.
I need some help.
Here he is.
I need some help here. Can you evaluate my situation right now?
All right. You've had pretty much, I think, a perfect start to your draft with McCaffrey, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans. You got the running back. You have the 2 wide receivers. Now it's really all about the best player available. And that's, it could be a running back like Aaron Jones, who kind of pops off the board to me. It could be, I don't see any wide receivers I really love. So what do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the other guy that jumps out, not even jumps out because this is like a graveyard here too, is Kenny Golladay. If you're looking for some consistency and filling out your flex a little bit more. But yeah, I would say best player available, Aaron Jones and Chris Carson are the guys, and Mark Ingram are the guys that come to mind here because you only have one running back. So you kind of want to fill that out first before you get into flex, which you got to think about flex as like a weekly thing you could change.
Right.
I'm big on picking from the best team. Who do you think is on the best team out of those players?
Out of those 3 that I mentioned, or out of the ones that Sean was saying?
Yeah, out of the 3 you mentioned. 8 seconds.
Aaron Jones.
I would say Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
I'm going Jones.
And the best part of this is you have 2 more picks to wait, and then you can just see who else is left. So
right.
There's really not a lot of risk to picking him there.
The other thing is James White is there. If this is a full point PPR league, Sean, I know you took him in mock draft 1.0.
Oh yeah,
he's a steal.
Great flex
wherever you take him. Yeah,
I had White last year.
Yeah, you did,
and that's a big reason you were so good.
Wanted him.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
He's just under the radar. All right, you're up again. So Derrick Henry and Chris Carson got taken after your Aaron Jones pick. So can't take Carson, but
should I just go for Mahomes?
Ooh,
you could.
That's a big Rob pick right there. After you just talked about White,
that's a classic.
After talking about how good White was last year,
pick.
He's sitting right there staring at him.
Wait, White? Oh shit! No, I'm gonna go with James White. He was my star last year.
Now I have a question, Scott. Why is he going so low? Is it just because people are expecting the Patriots?
Regression?
Yeah, regression of the Patriots to run more traditionally. Do we know anything about the Patriots? They're going to exploit the inconsistencies in NFL defenses, which equals James White catching the ball 80 times. It's just crazy.
Well, the funny thing is about the Patriots, it changes every single year. And we always think Tom Brady's going to have his next off year. He kind of did last year. He was top 20 for quarterbacks, if I remember correctly. But I read a stat today that he had 12 games of at least 250 yards last year. In 11 of those games, Josh Gordon was active. And now we're reading some reports that Josh Gordon is back and might be is reinstated.
Yep.
And is joining the team again. So you got to think, if Josh Gordon is out there, they just drafted N'Keal Harry. They have him. They have Edelman, N'Keal Harry, Josh Gordon to fill the void for Gronk. They're still going to run it a lot with Sony Michel and maybe Damian Harris. And James White is still going to do the same exact thing he does every single year.
Oh my God!
The more things change, the more they stay the same with the Patriots. James White especially.
Yeah, I totally agree. They have like a plethora of weapons there, and it's almost like you have to expect one of the guys to get hurt. But if you have that little piece of that Patriots offense, like, you're going to be happy with it, I would say. Now here I am at the 5-6 turn, and I'm thinking about doing a little experiment with myself. I normally don't take a quarterback this early, but Patrick Mahomes is sitting here, and he's not getting back to me at the other turn, and he is just by far the best fantasy quarterback. And I think that as much as I don't want to take a quarterback early, I kind of want to see what happens. So that's my first pick here. I'm going to wait it out, though, because I want to see what running back I like here in this range, which is really the reason I'm taking him, because I don't like anyone here. I really did myself a disservice by taking Brandon Cooks in that last round, and now I'm learning that lesson. So I'm learning on the fly here.
So you got Devontae Freeman as your running back, Julio Jones, Devontae Adams, and Brandon Cooks as your wide receivers. So you filled out your flex already. Still have a running back slot open, tight end slot open, QB slot open. So you're thinking of taking Mahomes and then figuring out the other running back. Yeah. I mean, I've done that too. And then the running backs that you have available here are, let's see, Kenyon Drake.
Nope.
Tariq Cohen, Darius Geis, Lamar Miller, Miles Sanders, Tevin Coleman.
I'm gonna take Tariq Cohen because I know he's gonna get the ball in week 1 right off the bat, and he's gonna touch the ball a lot in PPR. This is a standard format. I would have been totally screwed there, to be honest with you, because I'm not a big Kenyon Drake guy. So yes, I have a little bit of a hole to dig out from in the running back spot, but again, that wide receiver floor every week, I'm basically taking my flex spot and transferring it to my running back 2 spot, because I'm going to lock in Brandon Cooks in my flex every week. Now my quote unquote flex becomes who my running back 2 is, and I can kind of figure that out. I think Tariq Cohen as like my quote unquote flex guy is pretty solid for PPR.
Yeah. And again, zero running back strategy, like you just said, you're basically swapping out your running back 2 spot for your flex, because you know who your flex is going to be every week. Brandon Cooks. It's a pretty good flex to have. He's going to get probably 1,200 yards, 6 touchdowns, and you can rely on that every week. And then you just got to figure out the second running back spot. So if you can maximize whatever position you're drafting for, then you're good. And all right, so I had Zeke and Odell as my first 2, then T.Y. Hilton 3rd pick, Marlon Mack 4th, and then I took Mark Ingram to fill out my flex in round 5, and then round 6, Mike Williams, Chargers, my guy. This team just screams me, except for Odell. I never take Odell usually.
No, I definitely am enjoying that team because it's kind of showing me what I should have done, which was wait on that 3rd wide receiver. As much as I love Cooks, and believe me, with this team I'd be pretty happy, honestly, week to week. But if I waited, I'm pretty happy with Mike Williams as my 3rd wide receiver if I just picked a running back earlier.
Yeah, it's like whatever you gotta also think about, like, comparing the 2 guys that you would have taken. So what I mean by that is compare Brandon Cooks as your 3rd best wide receiver to whatever running back you would have taken there. Compare that combo to like Mike Williams and Mark Ingram or something like that. So you took Tariq Cohen as your 2nd running back, and your flex is Brandon Cooks. My flex is Mark Ingram, and my 3rd wide receiver is Mike Williams. Like in that same order. So, like, who would you rather have? You got to think about where you want to maximize first.
See, yeah, like I probably would have taken Marlon Mack or Aaron Jones. It's funny that you guys wound up with both those guys.
Yeah.
As that running back 2. And to me, I mean, I like those guys. I don't love them, but I do. So that guy plus Mike Williams or Brandon Cooks, and then who I wound up with, which was Tariq Cohen. I mean, if Tariq Cohen is the guy, you know, then that pays off. But it's really it's more of a gamble. And that's what you're doing at the 10 spot anyway. You're already playing from behind because when your team set your draft order, they already set you back a couple paces. So it's all about thinking outside the box. So hopefully this team comes together, and hopefully those of you out there, the listeners that have that 8, 9, or 10 pick in your draft, have the cojones to think outside the box, because that's what it takes. It really is what it takes. My most successful team from that range, my first 2 picks were Odell and Gronk like a few years back, and I went 0 running back, and it actually wound up paying off. It takes a lot of work, but it can.
I agree.
Oh, Rob just picked.
like that.
Rob just made 2 picks. I kind of missed it there. Who'd you go with, Rob, at that turn?
I did AJ Green
Value.
Nice.
on Cincinnati, and then I took Kenyon Drake.
Oh, Kenyon Drake. Ugh.
What's the
I
problem
just
with
don't
him?
like him very much.
Why
He's just
not?
on the shit list.
He's got a good projection.
Kind of on the shit list, yeah.
Why is he on the shit list?
Don't worry about it.
Oh no! What have I done?
You screwed
overthink
your
this pick
team over. That's what you did.
Like Marvin
Oh,
Jones
no.
last week.
The problem I have with a guy like Kenyon Drake is when you look at his week to week numbers, they kind of just leave a little bit to be desired, especially for the top, quote unquote, top running back on his team. Now that I'm looking back at it, it's not as bad as I thought. Like, he has a few weeks where he put up 24, 23, 26, but when he puts up like 1 carry for 6 yards in week 15 in the fantasy playoffs, like, that is infuriating. So
Why does he
Right.
have such high projections then?
I think it's because the overall, like what he'll get over the course of a season, because he has those big weeks that you can't really rely on. He'll have the amount of points that like he's going to get projected, but the problem is you have to keep him. This is what I ran into last year. Every single week, you have to keep him in your lineup. 'Cause it's impossible to guess. It's like Russian
Yeah,
roulette.
you never
It's
know
impossible
which
to-
week he's going to have the breakout.
Exactly. Yeah. So you have to keep him in your lineup every single week, and you might get a week where it's 1 carry for 6 yards, and then that's it. But then
Right.
the next week when you're like, all right, screw him, I'm taking him out, he might get 25 points. So like, it's up to you if you have steady, like safe guys. Like, let me look at your team. If you have, steady guy like Christian McCaffrey or James White, who's the epitome of consistency, you can afford to put Kenyon Drake in your flex if you don't have any other running backs. But your running backs are really solid right now. McCaffrey and Jones are plug-ins every week. James White is a really good flex in a PPR league. Kenyon Drake is a bye-week fill-in for you. So that's a good position to be in. If he was a starter, then that would give me some pause. All right, UQ Sean, round 8, pick 1. What are we going with?
I just picked David Montgomery, the other Chicago running back, to pair with Tariq
Nice.
Cohen. That way, one of them gets hurt, I'm still covered, and I think they both could be playable guys as we keep going throughout the year. And now I'm going to kind of be in a weird spot here because I definitely want to take another running back. As much as I would love to take Hunter Henry here at tight end, I really need a running back because I need that 4th guy. I just need that other option. So right now I'm between Miles Sanders and Tevin Coleman. Miles Sanders, obviously the rookie on Philadelphia, who I have a huge soft spot for. I think in round 8, that's a great value. He may be the kind of guy that starts slow but picks it up late in the year. So he's the guy I picked there. And if he pops or one of the Bears guys explodes, this team's winning the league. So that's what I'm looking for right there. That high ceiling.
Yeah, I dig that.
Everybody likes a high ceiling.
Tevin Coleman is an interesting pick because he has familiarity with Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, he's a guy I haven't really thought about enough this
me
year
neither.
until I just saw his name pop up. Maybe it's because I'm drafting when I'm doing my mocks. I'm doing them from the 3 and 4 spot because that's where my picks fall. And he's just like not going in that range. I just saw him. I'm seeing like a whole new list of guys from this 10 spot. It's a little bit interesting.
So I haven't. Yeah.
Oh, you're in a
Yeah.
tough spot here. Still
Yeah,
need a quarterback and a tight end. Heavily invested in the Chargers and the Colts. So
Very much so. And I could be invested in the Browns if I take Jarvis Landry. But I have Odell, so it's kind of silly.
See, this is a tricky spot here. This is that mid round pick. You're really looking at like the heart of every round here. And if you took Henry, then you'd have 3 Chargers players.
Yeah, that's too many. And I don't know. There's a lot of ifs with Henry. I don't know why he's going so early. He wasn't like all that. I mean, he had like 12 touchdowns his second year, just like 2 years ago, and then he was out all year last year. Like, I don't know how well he's going to do.
Did he have 12 touchdowns? That's crazy.
Let me look. I think he had a lot. Let me check.
Hot take. When you look at his like picture on the app, on the ESPN app, that does not look like a top 6 tight end.
Hot take. He's got some
Who
lettuce.
picked McDonald already?
I'm sorry. He had 8 touchdowns. I thought he had double digit. But yeah, 2016 he had 478 yards, 36 catches, 8 touchdowns, which is kind of unsustainable.
Seems like people are going for tight ends early. Is that weird?
This is about the range that they start to go for them, I would say. But
well, if they're doing it, I'm doing it.
Oh boy, he's always a follower.
Mm-hmm.
Who even is the next tight end? Oh God. Oh, Rob.
Joku.
Rob, Scott.
Oh, no.
Scott, what round did you get him in mock draft 1.0?
Did I just
12.
screw up?
I think 4 rounds
what?
later.
Scott got him 4 rounds later. That's why you don't have to panic just because other people are taking tight ends.
Especially with tight ends and quarterbacks, yeah. But you're good though. Hey, that could play. You know,
I mean, so far you've only made 2 picks.
I like to get a good tight end.
Throw up, and that's normally it's.
I like to get a good tight end. Hey, listen to my logic here, okay? I got some fantasy football HQ intel here that you guys are ignoring.
Oh yeah,
I like to get a good tight end early because I feel like there's less really good tight ends than there are really good like wide receivers and running.
It's a great point. And me and Scott are both tight endless right now, so we're going to be up against it later in the draft.
And also, last season, I got a really good tight end, and then Scott wanted me to trade it to him the whole season.
Who?
Just
Who
kept
was
saying
that?
no. Cooper.
no, that's Cooper Kupp.
Whoever the fuck it
That was
is.
wide
I don't know.
receiver.
What is his name? Oh, well, I had some tight end that you wanted.
You had Evan Engram.
Are you sure?
I wanted
wrong.
Keenan
I don't
Allen.
know.
Rob had a lot of trade
I'm gonna have to
targets
look
last
back
year.
at
He had
it.
James White,
He did, yeah.
Keenan Allen.
White really played out well for me.
Oh, Jared Cook maybe you had? I don't know. You had one tight end I was trying to get. Or maybe I was trying to trade you a tight end
let's
for
see.
Cooper Kupp.
All right, Rob, pick 9, round 9, pick 2. Who's he going with here? This is an interesting. So on the board right now, we have Lamar Miller, yuck. Robbie Anderson, question mark. Will Fuller, always hurt, but I'm partial to him. Marvin Jones, the pick that you hated last mock draft, so I would gamble you're not picking him. Christian Kirk, Dante Pettis, Royce Freeman, Rashad Penny, Darrell Henderson. This is like the wasteland. This is where you want to take your quarterback, if possible. And
Or you take Lamar Miller.
Lamar Miller. Ugh.
Wait, what? I didn't pick him.
Oh, you ran
I
out of
picked Peyton
time.
Barber.
Uh-oh.
Oh, the dreaded.
Oh,
Peyton
my
Barber would have been
God,
worse, man.
You got to be kidding me.
It's all right. We're working out the kinks before
ridiculous.
before the actual draft. So hopefully you don't have a single auto drafted pick when it really counts.
I turned off auto pick. I don't know how it. Whatever.
UQ Sean's up.
Oh,
turn.
my God.
Round 9, pick 10, and round 10, pick 1.
All right. So far I have 3 wide receivers, 4 running backs, and a quarterback. There's literally 1 wide receiver on the board right now, and it's Courtland Sutton. I have to scroll down to see anybody else. I have my quarterback already. Otherwise, this would be like the Baker zone. I'm kind of looking at a type here. I'm kind of looking at a very specific type of player. I'm going to go Duke Johnson with my first pick.
I like that. Pass-catching running backs here. I feel like rounds 8, 9, 10 are pass-catching running backs.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at like Darrell Henderson, Nyheim Hines.
Latavius Murray is a spell back.
I definitely want another running back, but which one?
I feel like you go Rashad Penny and you take the upside. Chris Carson kind of gets hurt every now and then, and they got rid of Mike Davis, so Rashad Penny's like the second guy up.
Yeah, there's no way I'm taking Delaney Walker right now. That's not happening.
Nah.
Now,
No.
Darrell Henderson, though,
Yeah.
is like the most premium handcuff, I would say, outside of Latavius Murray, who's also here. But I think I don't trust the Rams to build him enough of a role if Gurley's healthy. I mean, I'm sure he'll touch the ball a little bit, but it's not going to be significant enough. So I think you're right. I'm going to go Rashad Penny and roll the dice. In round 10, I mean, the grocery stick has been put down, so I'm putting the, those impulse buy items in my cart. A little candy bar.
I like that.
What candy bar can you guys not say no to when you see it on a checkout
Twix
line?
bar.
Twix?
Oh, either a Twix or like $100,000.
$100,000 is
What's $100,000?
oh, it's so underrated. It's one of the best candy
Low
bars.
key.
What's in it? Let me look it up. Also,
It's a
Kit
very
Kat bar.
under the radar fire candy
Foyer.
bar.
For your $100,000 candy bar.
All right, Team Ralph's
Here we
back up.
go,
He's
I'm
trying
up
to
again.
stop the bleeding of his last couple rounds.
I'm just picking a QB.
Oh, this might be the Baker zone here. Oh, is Baker gone
I took
already?
Baker already.
Oh, you dog. You dog.
Damn it.
I don't like trust Andrew Luck's.
Dude, Hooper. I told you, Hooper. That's who you wanted, Scott.
Austin
who I had.
Hooper. I thought you said Cooper.
Yeah, I said
You did,
Hooper.
you did say Cooper.
I said Cooper first, and then I corrected and said
Oh,
Hooper. And then
okay.
you were like, no.
Well, you
Yeah,
did.
you
You said the
wanted
wrong
Hooper.
name. That's why I said no.
Yeah, but then I said Hooper after. You already
You got to
tuned me
say
out.
Cooper C as in cat.
All right, I'm going for a quarterback here. I'm just going
Can't
to
take
go
Baker.
for... Would you go for Prescott or Breeze?
I'd probably say
Probably Breeze.
Yeah, I think Breeze is actually in a good spot there. He's
More
just consistent.
trustworthy.
He's like the most trustworthy guy. Like you could put your life in that guy's hands. That's what you want there.
I'm drafting Breeze.
And also,
I want my life in his
if
hands.
Zeke holds out like longer than I don't know. Like if he holds out into the season, Dak Prescott is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, he's not going to be good at all if Zeke holds out. And again,
this $100,000 bar sounds good.
Scott, you that's like I was eating Halloween candy a couple of years ago, and I was like blown away by what I had missed because I was eating $100,000 and I was like, I ate one and I was like, oh, I got to find some more, and then I had like another one in my bag, and then that was it. I only had two, and then I like literally like wanted to go buy some at the store. Like that's how good they are.
He should have. It's cheap candy the day after Halloween. Oh, let's go! Whoop whoop. Curtis Samuel,
Oh, that's your guy.
round 11. I haven't even picked the tight end yet, and I don't care.
I'm gonna go Austin Hooper because he just kinda,
Damn it!
he fell to me in round 11. Like that was
good for him.
that was an instant decision there. Now the benefit of taking Mahomes is I don't need to take another quarterback if I don't want to. I don't think I'm going to. So I'm free to just make whatever wild picks I want for the rest of the draft.
I like that. Who's he going?
Oh, I'm not going to get this guy later. Anthony Miller. Love Anthony Miller.
All right.
I don't know what it is about him. Maybe it's the simple name, the team he's on. He's just like my guy. He's very quickly becoming one of my guys. And I've never
Second year
owned him.
breakout.
Yeah, that's huge.
Should I take a tight end here? Nah, I'm gonna wait. I don't care.
Zero tight end strategy right there.
Hell yeah.
The next
Going Carlos Hyde.
Oh yeah.
Upside fill in if Damian Williams is hurt.
Which he is already. So
Yeah.
definitely.
What were you saying about tight end, Sean?
I was gonna say the next three are Jordan Reed, Trey Burton, Greg Olson. Three very different players, all with their knocks and bruises at this point, but that's what you're kind of looking at if you choose to forego paying the early price. Like we both took a nice we took that first date with Zach Ertz and we said, you know what, that's not it. You don't get that second date, Zach Ertz. So now we're looking at Jordan Reed, Trey Burton, Greg Olson. I lucked out with Hooper, but remember this, folks. George Kittle went undrafted last year.
Yep.
I think it was like 4 years ago. Gary Barnidge was a top 3 tight end, and then disappeared forever.
Wow. Forgot about that guy.
It's the kind of situation where you can find value late because it doesn't take much to actually have value at tight end. So like a guy like Mark Andrews later.
Yes.
I mean, whoever the Rams guy is, I think Gerald Everett is his name. He's like an awesome athlete. On another team, he would be really interesting, but there's too many mouths to feed, but you could take a dart on him. There's so many guys that could be good at tight end. It's just a matter of them getting enough targets.
Darren Waller on the Oakland Raiders. Mike Gesicki on the Dolphins. Noah Fant on Denver. It's a rookie. Chris Herndon. Like, those are some names to look for. And your very last pick, if you want to take your kicker and defense, like in rounds 14, 15, and then you take your second tight end later. I'm going to, if I don't get one of those like top 6 tight ends, I'm probably going to take 2 tight ends.
Yeah, it's a good strategy. And then as soon as one emerges, you cut the other one loose, and you're good to go.
Exactly. I think a lot of people are like scared about Chris Herndon because he's suspended. Obviously, suspension for 4 games is kind of a long time, but on a per game basis, he was top 10 at some points last year, towards the end of the season. So, and Darnold's second year, I don't know. I think he'll do pretty well this year when he comes back.
Side note: the face that Rob makes when he's sizing up players, it's like he like his interrogation partner just kicked up his feet on the desk and lit a cigarette,
100%.
and then Rob is like on the other side, like face red, like staring into their soul, sweating. Like
100% of my brain power is going into making this call.
I thought you said bad cop, bad cop.
Nice, right? So your references are tight, Scott. Nice.
That reference is tight.
Oh, that's actually a great pick, Rob. Matt Breida. Because he was like a surprising breakout guy last year, and Tevin Coleman, he's good, but he's not great, and Jerick McKinnon is surprisingly still not really healthy, apparently. So he might not even start the season with the 49ers. So Matt Breida could have a big role there.
I'm feeling pretty good about my team right now. I feel like this time I didn't go for that many sexy players, but I got some good picks in.
Not a bad thing. Let's do a little, while Sean's doing the round 13, 14 picks, do a little recap of your team, Rob. You got Drew Brees, quarterback, Christian McCaffrey, and Aaron Jones, James White as your 3 running back starters, including your flex. Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, wide receiver tandem. David Njoku, tight end. And then bench, you got AJ Green, Kenyon Drake, Lamar Miller, Kiki Cutie, Tyrell Williams, Matt Breida. Really solid construction here.
Thanks.
Yeah, you got some solid backups there. Lamar Miller can be a plug-in. Matt Breida, Kenyon Drake, if James White or Aaron Jones falter. Tyrell Williams is a good bye week guy. AJ Green when he comes back. Solid team here. What's Sean going with? He hasn't picked yet, but in the meantime, Patrick Mahomes, Devontae Freeman, Tariq Cohen, Julio Jones, Devontae Adams, and Brandon Cooks as the starting 3 wide receivers, which is scary. Austin Hooper. And then backups, we got David Montgomery, Miles Sanders, doubling up on some running back rookies. Duke Johnson, Rashad Penny, Anthony Miller. Solid backups here.
And the reason...
Kalen Ballage.
Oh, yeah. That's a big Scott pick right there. I was like kind of searching through the running backs. The reason I'm not... Actually, like I'm filling out my last bench spot right now. I just took Kalen Ballage. He's my now 7th running back that I've drafted. The reason that I'm still not going to take another wide receiver here is because I need to find that running back 2, and I'm set with my top 3 wide receivers. Like, there's not a wide receiver here. Like, if one jumps out off the page to me as a guy that could be like the target leader on their team, then maybe I'll grab him, but I don't see that right now. I got 50 seconds to find that guy. Let's see. Oh, he was right in front of my face the whole time. Jamison Crowder.
Yeah, there you go.
He's the definition of a bye-week fill-in, but there's also the off chance that he's the one that develops a rapport with Darnold above everybody else and becomes the target leader in the Jets offense. So I'm going to find that out very quickly if I have this team for real. If he's getting a ton of targets, that's great to hang on to him. He's my bye-week fill-in for my wide receiver spot. If he's not, I cut him loose, and I get my 8th running back on my team until I find that rock solid RB2.
And here's the other thing, like, for people out that say there's not enough depth there, I completely agree with you. I think if think about it this way, if one of your top wide receivers goes down, Julio or Devontae Adams, you plug in Brandon Cooks there, and you have so many options at running back to fill in that flex spot too.
Right.
So you just kind of play like you need to fill in 2 spots, but you have so many different options. And then Jamison Crowder could be like you said, like the target guy there.
And the only other player I was considering there was Devin Singletary, running back in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I think he has a huge talent, he has a huge ceiling, but at the end of the day, the Bills are going to be probably god awful, and the Jets might be pretty good. So that, again, it comes down to which team's on the field more, which team scores more, and I think Crowder will be in more positions to score than Singletary. Now, I could be really wrong. Singletary could be like the Alvin Kamara of this year. It's definitely possible because he's got so many oldies in front of him. But Crowder, I feel good with as my 5th wide receiver, so I'm pretty set there.
That's a really good comparison. It could be the Alvin Kamara this year. I love that.
And he's so under the radar, which is what I love about him. He will probably be my last pick on a lot of teams if his ADP stays where it is, but this time it didn't work out. Sorry, Devin.
Sorry, Dev.
Oh, Dev, you guys are on abbreviation terms, you and Dev?
Yeah, you didn't know that? Oh, you're not? Oh. Okay, so it's round 15, pick 6. I have Andrew Luck, Ezekiel Elliott, Marlon Mack, Odell Beckham, T.Y. Hilton, Trey Burton, Mark Ingram, and then... So I'm going to fill out another... Before I go to tight end, my second tight end, I'm going to take the Broncos D. I kind of like this, like, pick your last guy as a dart throw, and then take your defensive kicker one round earlier so you get, like, kind of cream of the crop. I'll pick a tight end next, or if someone jumps out at me, I'll pick one of those guys.
I have wound up with Harrison Butker on every single mock draft so far this year. The butt kicker, he is like, he's got the name, he's got the game. What else do you want from this guy?
He's got the name, he's got the game.
And defensively, again, this is something I'm going to talk about next week at length. This defense, whoever I pick here, is immediately going to the waiver wire as soon as the draft is over because I stream defenses. And week 1, there's always a random defense that comes out every year, and it's never a team that was drafted. So I'm just going to cut the Cleveland Browns defense as soon as the draft's over and go pick up another player.
I dig that. All right, we're wrapping it up already.
This mock was decidedly less crazy than the other one. We had a lot less interaction with the people in this mock, so none of them get a shout out except for Team Vine because who doesn't want to bring back Vine?
True. Bring back Vine.
But it was a little disappointing. The teams, though, were lit. Litty.
We'll post
Shout
it
out
on,
to the guy
post
that
it on Instagram again.
said I had a cool name.
Very true. I don't know who. I think that was Team Hunt.
All right, so we did the recap. While we're here, let's briefly run it down. We already did. So let's just really grade each other's teams. And for this, we got to kind of gang up on each other. So let's grade.
I like that.
Rob, me and you, let's grade Scott's team first.
Okay.
And when I say grade, it doesn't have to be a number, a letter, 4 stars, 3 stars. You could just say whatever comes to mind when you think of this team.
Shit.
We got Andrew Luck, Zeke Elliott, Marlon Mack, Odell, T.Y. Hilton, Trey Burton, Mark Ingram, Broncos D, Greg Zuerlein, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, Dante Pettis. Baker Mayfield is the second quarterback. I kind of like that. It's Curtis Samuel, Carlos Hyde, Mark Andrews, my guy. Nice pick there. Rob, how do you grade Scott's team? And then I'm going to grade it as well on the count of 3. You ready?
Okay.
I like this.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, 3 stars.
Burger King. What?
This is my movie rating. I would say 3 stars out of 4. And
I dig it.
Only reason you don't get that 4-star rating, Scott, is if the Colts aren't good, this team is going down. This team is going down fast if the Colts aren't
down
good.
Down the tubes.
But very solid regardless. I mean, when I see Zeke and Odell coming to town every week, I'm scared of that team. So that's automatically a good team right there. Now, Rob, you need to explain that Burger King. thought.
Yeah, I was
right
just going to ask that.
I'm rating him a Burger King on a scale of Arby's to In-N-Out.
I don't know. I don't think that's a compliment.
because he has some big names like the Whopper. I would consider Odell Beckham Jr. the Whopper of the team. And then he's got a pretty solid base throughout, but overall I'm feeling underwhelmed at the end of the meal.
That's great.
Dude, did you think of that like on the spot? That's really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
All right, who's up next?
Thoroughly impressive. Let's gang up on Rob.
Awesome.
Roast me.
Awesome. All right. Scott, you list them out while I think of my rating.
Perfect. We got to go to this food analogy again. I don't think we're going to do nearly as well as you, but all right. QB, Drew Brees, Christian McCaffrey, Aaron Jones, running backs. Wide receivers, Keenan Allen and Mike Evans. Tight end, David Njoku, James White in a flex. Saints defense, Justin Tucker, kicker. I don't know why I said it like that. Justin Tucker as your kicker. AJ Green, Kenyon Drake, Lamar Miller, Kiki Cutie, Tyrell Williams, Matt Breida, and Deshaun Hamilton, who I think you took last month.
You're a big Deshaun Hamilton guy.
Big Deshaun guy.
I like this corner that Rob is carving out for himself.
And he took Matt Breida last time because I remember he took him and Jerk McChicken, and he was like, hey, I took two of the same running backs, and we were like, yeah, but you picked the two backups, not the starter. I remember that vividly. But
fuck.
All right, let's rate this
you
thing.
didn't take Marvin Jones.
Let's grade this thing right here.
All right.
You ready? 3, 2, 1. Papa John's.
Wendy's.
Oh, who wants to go first?
Oh, okay.
I'll go first. Wendy's, I used to love it. I still like it. It gives me some heartburn every now and then, just like the Drew Brees pick.
Ooh, okay.
Getting older. We don't know how much longer he's going to be in the league. Could falter there. You only have one quarterback, so that kind of gives me some pause. AJ Green getting older, hurt. Kenyon Drake up and down. Lamar Miller getting older. So I feel like I would have liked this team like 2 or 3 years ago a lot. Christian McCaffrey obviously is an exception there, but I do like this team a lot. I'll still have Wendy's.
I like that.
I like Wendy's better than Burger King, to be honest with you. I'd probably rather have your team than my team. I'm not even just saying
wow. That means a lot.
All right. The moment we've all been waiting for. This team is Papa John's because on the surface, you see Papa John's come on like a football Sunday, Papa John's commercial, and you say, damn, that looks good, that pizza. Right? So when I look at this team at first, I see Christian McCaffrey, Aaron Jones, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, James White. I think this team is delicious pizza. But then, bubbling under the surface, just like the real life Papa John, who's got some things going on under the surface,
is a racist CEO.
Under the radar, we take a look at just the depth of this team. The depth is scary, just like the depth of Papa John. AJ Green, Kenyon Drake, Lamar Miller, and those like first 3 guys off the bench are scary to me. I don't want any of those guys on my team, Lamar Miller or Kenyon Drake especially. Maybe AJ Green, but probably not. So the depth is scary, and that's the reason why I grade you a Papa John's out of 10.
Damn, we sound really smart and thoughtful tonight, don't we?
That was creative.
Oh, really good.
All right, hashtag
that.
roast me. Here we go.
All right, so we got. I'll list it out. Rob, you think of a good one here for Sean. Patrick Mahomes, quarterback. Devontae Freeman, Tariq Cohen, running back starters. Julio Jones, Devontae Adams, Brandon Cooks, 3 starting wide receivers. Austin Hooper, tight end. Browns defense, but we know what you're going to do with them. Harrison Butt, kicker. And then bench, David Montgomery, Miles Sanders, Duke Johnson Jr., Rashad Penny, Anthony Miller, Kalen Ballage, and Jamison Crowder on the Jets. Rob, I don't have one yet, but I'll think of one on the spot.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Cluck you,
McDonald's.
chicken.
Ooh, okay. I like both of those places, so I'll take it.
Okay. I'm saying McDonald's because I think this is a tried and true calculated team that is going to perform steady, just as McDonald's is going to continue to perform steadily throughout eternity because it's just an impenetrable business.
Heck yeah. I will take
No matter
that to the
what they
bank
do.
right there.
I dig it.
Now, I'm not saying it's not going to go and be super sexy and amazing. It's not going to have the menu items that Taco Bell has that blow you away. It's not volatile. It's just easy Eddie, steady Eddie, whatever it
I like
is.
that. I'll take
Nice. I said Cluck You Chicken because from the name, it's for those that don't know, this is a local place in Hoboken. I think they have
So
some other
good.
branches.
Oh, it's so good.
Really good chicken, but the only thing they make is chicken. And the reason I said that for your team,
I see where you're going with this.
you stacked the crap out of your wide receivers, which I commend you on, but that's the strength of your team. And then everything else is kind of like, I don't want to say filler, but the running back situation, quarterback obviously is fantastic as well if he continues at the pace he went last year. Running back, we're lacking a little bit, and it's almost like Cluck You trying to make a salad. I don't think they were great at
no
it,
greens.
but the chicken could carry a meal. So I like this team.
Wow, that's a good one.
If you like chicken, you like Sean's
Those
team.
empty calories almost. You need like there's no nutrients being given in this meal whatsoever.
True. You could survive on it. You might not feel great after it, though.
Nice. And a quick shout out, now that we've all rated our teams, to every other team in this mock draft that was lame AF. You will be not
Garbage.
named. You will not be friends of the pod.
You guys suck.
We were spoiled in mock draft 1.0 with the camaraderie and the back and forth of that group. Honestly, I'm starting to miss those guys. I'm starting to miss them.
Yeah, me too.
One team has D.D. Westbrook as their starting wide receiver.
Sabine, come back.
Bring back Team Sabine. Well, that wraps up our mock draft 2.0. Thanks to, actually, you know what? No, we just said it, but no thanks to the participants in this one compared to mock draft 1.0. You were no help. You didn't answer us, but I hope you listen to us and sponsor us.
And may God have mercy on your souls.
Sick references.
Agreed.
References are tight. So.
We will be throwing out the mock draft teams on our social media just like we did for mock draft 1.0. Give us your feedback and rate them in terms of food chains because we want to hear why, and we want the you cuties to be active in those channels. So stay active in those channels. With us.
Shout out Sean. Great job last week on the Insta.
Oh, thank you very
Fantastic.
much.
Keep it
I'm
up.
the Taco Bell
us-
of social media team.
Ooh,
Strategists.
self-proclaimed. It's bold.
Yes.
Bold
The
statement.
Crunchwrap Supreme, if you will, of
That's
the social
better.
media game.
Cluck you, maybe.
Thank God for Taco Bell. Shout out to our sponsors.
We're gonna get in trouble for doing that.
Oh, I can't wait till we do.
I hope so.
It's going to be amazing.
I don't. I have way more anxiety than both of you. I'm a wreck half the time.
Just like all good press, all press is good press, all Taco Bell is good Taco Bell. So don't forget about that.
That's true. Never had bad Taco Bell.
Yo quiero.
I just Kiero. Well, see you later.